Hi there. So you're taking over as head professional or maybe retail manager of your first pro shop. Congratulations. But how do you stock your shop for the first time? How do you balance giving your members a shop that they love and expect with the financial risks of the unknown in its first year? I'm Jules Appleby. This is Mark Hopkins. We're from Xpos, golf's leading sales and business management software. We're retail experts with over 20 years experience in the industry. Hopefully this video will help you.
Thanks, Jules. Yeah, so the easiest way to get a high level figure of just how much you should be spending on stock is to use some industry averages. So let's do some quick maths now, brace yourselves. So the average net turnover of a pro shop in the UK right now is around about £220,000. So the average margin for that is about 32%. So 220 and 32%. This means that the average cost of those sales, so the average cost for the 220,000 turnover is about 150 grand. That's what you need to spend to make the 220. So it's the metaphorical fuel that you need to fire the business.
But clearly you don't want to be spending 150 grand right now before you've even opened your doors. This is where your negotiations with the brands start. And to help you with these negotiations, you're going to need to take into account a number of factors. So firstly, what time of year are you starting your business? Is it halfway through the season or is it the very start? Your member to visitor ratio, size of club, physical size of pro shop, what your bank will loan you, of course, and also the history of the pro shop. We haven't got time to go through all of these right now, but what we can help you with is how you can split your spend across the different product groups.
Yeah, so have a look at the numbers in this table. We've looked at sales values across the categories, and these are the averages across all of our pro shops around the UK. So here you would take your budget and split it between the percentages in the breakdown. Now, this is an incredibly valuable guide as to what would work for you. But remember, every shop is different, and it's worth comparing these percentages to the reports from the last owner or manager of the shop if you can get hold of them. So looking at it here, you can see hardware is about 40% of the turnover for most shops. Now after that is clothing and balls. Take those percentages, split it across your spend for that season, and when it comes to how much you should be pre-booking with the brand, well, actually, we recommend you should be looking at about 80%.
Oh, okay. So 80% of my first year's budget on pre-books. I don't know, that seems quite high, Mark. Why so much? And what if what I buy doesn't sell?
No, I get that. And the key is, it's always about finding that right balance between the two. So what's right for you? Now, if you don't have the stock and you can't sell it, then most brands can't. They won't guarantee the stock unless you book it in advance. So there's always taking that balance between what's available and what you can afford to buy up front. You might think you can buy the stock just when you need it, but it isn't always the case.
Okay, and are there any exceptions to the 80% guide?
Well, yeah, we will always say it depends on what the brands and the suppliers you can get in and the number of brands that you work with. That's always something to think about. The more brands you work with, the harder it will be to get better margins without the pressure of selling more stock. So you end up spreading yourself too thin. So unless you really want to go big in one particular category, our rule of thumb is you tend to aim for 2 suppliers per group.
What about clothing? So that's often quite a tricky category to get right because there are so many variables such as sizing and sort of colours. And it's your first shop, you're just learning your members' names, you've just opened the door. How do you know what they're going to like and what they'll buy?
Well, again, hopefully you've got some kind of reporting from the previous owner, that would help. And if they used Xpos, then you can run the brand statistics report and see a breakdown of the most sold sizes and products across men and women. But if you're in doubt, go with the core colours as much as you can. Although it's always worth putting your spin on things, so where you can.
Yeah, in fact, many pros that we see are still testing new styles each year, no matter how many years they've been in business. And that's really important too. You've got to keep up with the trends as well.
Yeah, ultimately it comes down to how much time and effort you're willing to invest in the shop. If you aren't really a salesperson, be honest with yourself. Play it safe. get the basics in and the core colours, and then test the waters.
But if you really want the shop to fly, start collecting customer data from day one. Names, are they a member or a visitor? What are they buying? All this information will help you to make better, more accurate buying decisions in year 2.
Yeah, that's right. Your buying choices for the second year are critical, because that's when you put into place everything you learned in year 1. Imagine how many seasoned golf pros would love to start again and have a clean slate and do the first year all over again. So get into the habit of picking up as much information as you can to enable you to fly next year. Check your Xpos reports weekly, but it's the best habit you'll ever do. Retail can be perceived as a hard work with little reward, but get it right now and retail could really shape your life moving forward.
That's it. That's everything from us for now. This has been a real fly through to give you some tips for stocking the shop for the first year in business. Remember, it will be virtually impossible to do any of this without Xpos. So when you find yourself in that position in the future, get in touch with us. We're always happy to provide help. It's what we're here for. Email us at hello@xpos.co.uk. Goodbye.